Hello everyone. Today I am going to test another Uni-T again. This one is a UT603 LCR meter. This one is really cheap. It comes for $40 shipped to Netherlands from China. It's worldwide, same price. I don't have high expectations from this meter, to be honest. I don't really need a LCR meter, but I want to have one in my collection, and I want to see how it does. Probably I will get some other one later on, but let's have a look in this and see how it looks like. I already opened up the package, to be honest, and the battery is already in there, but let's see what we get. We get two test leads with crocodile clips on it, meter itself of course, and a battery, but it's already in, like I said. And these are the warranty card, you can fill it in, and the user manual. It's really thin, and it is in Chinese, like always if you order from China, but you can download the English version from China itself, website itself. That one is English. I already print a couple pages to show you in the review about a couple of things about this meter. Okay, let's have a look at the meter. Let's file this up one off here so we can see the display clearly. There's an on-off button here. It is not a push button, but it stays in when you push it. I don't know how you call it in English, but it's a push button at least. There's also another unit called UT602. It has a hold button here, but this one has also extra function to measure the capacitance. And that one doesn't have that, so they skipped that hold button on this one and used the L and C button. You can see when it's raised, it's for inductions, and when it's pushed, it is for capacitance. Let's look into the display. The display is sharp, like always on Uni-T units, and the viewing angle is, it's okay. But it's not the display is fading out. I think the glass or the plastic that they used in front, it's making it darker, but you still can read it. It doesn't have a backlight, and the meter itself feels really great. It is nice in the hand. It doesn't look like one of those cheap ones. It has a stand, and you can directly see it's actually made for on the bench, because it's laying too far back instead of like Flux or other meters standing like this. But other than that, it's okay. The other thing what I seen was when you push these in, they feel like not great. It goes hard, and you don't get the feedback like it's sitting good there. And to be just sure it's not the leads. No, it is not the leads. I'm using another meter here. It is the input jacks are a little bit tight. It is not so big problem, but it doesn't give you good feedback as the other meters. Let's have do some measurements and we'll see what we can do. I didn't have any reference for the coils I'm going to measure for inductions, so I did some measurements and calculations. I will show you that right now. I'm going to take my camera in my hands and shoot the video for that. And you can see Portman's calculation, how to do it. Actually, you can't call it Portman's calculation because we are using two multimeters and a function generator. So cheap. It is not that cheap to calculate your Henry's inductions. let's go further and see how I measured the inductions on my test coils. Okay, let's have a look into the calculation and measuring I am doing to calculate the henries I'm getting from this little relay here. I'm going to keep the camera for this one in my hands, it's easier. I have 2 voltmeters. The third one is actually only for my function generator, because I don't have a function generator with the display on it, so it is easier for me to read out from the multimeter. I am using a precision resistor here set on 5K. I am using 1 voltmeter over this resistor and 1 voltmeter over the relay, and you can equate with your function generator, and with the hertz you get, you can calculate the henries. I am going to put some screenshot of the calculation, you can see it there. For further information you can Google it, and or you can look it on YouTube. There are plenty of explanations there how to calculate henries from a coil. Let's go further with the measurements. Okay, let's measure some coils here. I was measuring this one, and it was 3 henries, 0.15, and see if we get the same result here. And if I was calculating right, I am pretty sure it was a good calculation. So let's see what it shows. The manual says start always from a higher value and go to lower value when you're measuring inductions. But the thing is, doesn't have any outer range, so you have to do it manually. And the reading is looking good, to be honest. It is not that much off for its price, but before I was calculating and to see if it's correct, I tried also 2 henries, and this is what I get. And to be honest, it is not something good, because it doesn't outer range, and it doesn't give one over limit induction, but it goes, it measures something and does show that, but it is not the real value, and this can be really bad if you are measuring something and it is around that point. It will give problems, because you don't know what it is. If I didn't measure this one, I would think something is going wrong here, but there's nothing wrong with it. Like this, it does measure good, but when you set it down, it doesn't measure good, and it shows you some value. It is not right. So I'm not sure on this one. It just give the over limit value. So I am not happy with that. To be honest, if you don't know anything, and I don't want to set up every time all my meters to measure my with 2 multimeters and function generator. Let's see some other coils I got here. I used some transformator, and this one here. I calculated this one to 2.44. So let's see if it's right. 2.44 henries. Right. Let's do the clip on. Yep, this one is close also. And if you turn this one off, it doesn't measure anything. I don't know why it does with the smaller coil. I have no idea. There's something wrong with this, I think, or it is the inductance is too small, and it does give that problem. I'm not sure, but this one is actually lower value, and it does over limit on a lower range. So it's pretty weird. But the reading on this one is also, yeah, pretty good, because I was measuring or calculating 2.44, and it is measuring 2.40. So that one is also good. I don't have small. I have one, but small coil. So let's see that one. I did already measure that, but and calculated on the test I did. This one should be 40 milliamperes, and for some reason doesn't read good. And I did the calculations a couple times with different value of resistors, and it is still giving me okay, like this. It's still giving me wrong measurement. It is measuring, let's do it like this, 25 millihenries, and I calculated 40 millihenries, and I'm pretty sure I did the calculations good. I used different failures resistors, like I said, and that should change the frequency you're putting on, and you can do the same calculations again with different resistor failures, and I still get here 2.55. I mean 25.5, and my measurements were 40 millihenry. So I'm not sure what's going on here. Unfortunately, I don't have any other coils with the failures on to test with. Maybe I can do it later and put some other video about it to show how accurate it is. On the high failures, it was pretty good. Like I said, I don't have anything to test the other failures. And let's see the resistor measurements. I'm going to use two other meters with that, Fluke 87 and X-Tech MM570A, and see if it's looking good. On UT603 you can't reel it out. Let's show the measurement when you short the leads. It is showing, it's better like this. It's showing 0.1. Let's hook it up to this submission box, resistor decay box. I have the other one with the precision resistors, but I think this one is smaller and it's easier to do on this table. And let's see what it does. It is already showing 0.4. This is a very cheap resistor box, so let's see how it does with Uni-T and the other ones. Let's start with the really low value. I'm measuring here 1 ohms, and that's correct, of course, because we had that 4 already in there. And let's see that how it does on one of the other meters. Let's grab the Fluke and see what the Fluke does. Fluke is also measuring 1.4. Let's reel out the leads. Yep. Let's connect it back again. It is also showing 1.2. On this one was 1.4. Yeah, lower failure goes okay. Let's do it on the X-Tech and see what happens there. Yeah, I shouldn't do maybe 3 meters, but just to make sure how it looks like. Let's roll it out first. Okay. This one is a little bit short. Let's do it like this. It's also showing 1.2 like Fluke did. It has 1 digit more because it's a higher resolution meter. Okay, Fluke is showing also 9.96. Okay, let's go to 100K and see what happens there. Yeah, it is showing okay, but we have to test it with the other ones. The thing is, in the manual it says there should be here indication in what range you sit. You can only now see on the range rotation switch, but the manual shows directly. Let's see if you can see it here. In this part here, it is showing what what indications it gives, but it doesn't do that. I don't think even the LCD has that option in there. So let's have a look in the fluke, and I will do that. Talk about that doesn't show that. It's actually it's not such a good thing to have a meter and doesn't show you in what range you are. You have to check always on your rotation switch. The Uni-T was reading 100 kilo ohms, and this one fluke is reading 9.99 kilo ohms. It is within specs of the Uni-T. It's not that big problem there yet. Let's see if what we measure with the X-Tech. X-Tech is showing 100 kilo ohms. I know my fluke is pretty accurate, and I didn't test X-Tech yet because I'm waiting on a DMM check from USA. I ordered one. I want to check them all. I have a lot of multimeters. I want to make sure it's working all. Sorry, my refrigerator kicked in. Sorry about that. Let's go do some higher values with the Uni-T. Let's go to the mega ohm range. Let's go to 20 mega. 20 mega ohm. Like this. Everything is down. And let's see what it shows. It is reading a little bit higher. I have it on 40 mega ohms, and I mean 4 mega ohms, and it is showing 4.08 mega ohms. Let's see what the other meters does. Fluke is reading 9.96. Again, I didn't measure that high with the fluke, so I'm not sure if it's correct or not. I have to check that. Uni-T is showing pretty much near this resistance box, and the X-Tech is pretty new. I got it from X-Tech if you watch my other video about this one, so it should be pretty accurate. Let's see what this one measures. Yeah, it is measuring almost same as fluke, so the Uni-T is reading higher than both of the meters. Okay, as you've seen, the resistor measurements on the lower end is okay, and at the higher end it is showing a little bit off, but it is within specs. You can check the specs in the manual. You can download it from Uni-T's website, like I said before. Let's go test its continuity tester and see how it does. This way. It is not that fast. It's not scratchy either, but it's not that fast. But to make sure, let's try different leads, proper leads from fluke, and see if it's faster with that. Maybe it will go better, but I doubt it. No. It is a continuity test is pretty much useless if you are doing fast measure continuity test on a panel or something. So this one is useless. Let's go to capacitance test and see what we can get and how we can test it. Okay, I got here some capacitors. I know the values of these, so it will be make easier for us to test things. Let's start with 1 nanofarad. The manual says for small values you can better use this here. Let's see what we can measure. This one is 1 farad, and it's measuring 1.4 and its accuracy is plus minus 1% and 5 digits. So yeah, it is doing that. It's showing here. It is in the within specs. So let's test another one. Let's grab a little bit higher one. Start with I have here 33 nanofarads. Let's see what this one does. Let's go upper range to 200 nanofarads. Put it in there. Yeah, this one should be 33. You have to settle it down a little bit. Yeah, it's climbing up. Still climbing up a little bit. Okay, yeah, it is 2 digits more, but it's settled down. So it is also in within specs. Let's try another one again. Start with the heavier. Oh, it's the small one, sorry. Let's go my highest one in this one. Is 100 nanofarad. And let's see what it does measure. Doesn't measure anything. Oh, yeah, there we go. This is doing really weird, but I feel it's not sitting well there. So that those jigs are not there. Let's try another one to make sure it's not a meter or the cell. Yeah, it is doing weird stuff. It is climbing up. This one is 100 nanofarad, so let's settle down and see what happens there. Still climbing up. It is pretty slow, so yeah, I'm not sure if this such a good thing. It's still climbing up a little bit, but this one is actually way off. Let's see the measurement here, the accuracy. I mean, it should be still plus 1. Well, I mean 1% and plus 5 digits, and this one is sure not there. It is pretty much useless. Let's get another capacitor and test if it was the other one was faulty or not. It's climbing up again, and again it is very slow. It is 1% and plus 5 digits, so it should be at least reading 94 or 95, but it sure doesn't get there. It is way more often 1% plus 5 digits, so it is not winning the contest there. I can check this with the fluke, see what happens with the 100, and we measured I believe 3 nanofarad, and see what and 33. Let's see what it does with the other meters. But this one sure doesn't measure right, not within specs. Let's get the fluke out here. Oops, sorry. Let's set in the capacitance meter. Yeah, fluke is going till 0.102 3. It's even climbing higher. Microfarad. It is it is around 104, 105 nanofarads. 106. Fluke is measuring a lot higher than the Uni-T. I'm not sure what specs of the Fluke are, but it is at least not so low as the Uni-T itself. To make sure we can go another meter, check it on X-Tech for example. It's already in there. That is pretty much impressive. X-Tech is measuring a lot faster than both of the meters, but it is still on the low side, so I'm not sure which one is good here, so I didn't check it before. But let's do the small ones we tested, like 33 nanofarad, and see if those are close to UT603. Here we have. That's good. 3 nanofarad. It's the same when I test because it's already bent. Yeah, this one should be 33, and I see X-Tech is going slower now. It is reading 34, 35 almost. Still climbing up. Settle down here, 35.3. Let's do it again on the Uni-T. Okay, I am way too high, I guess. Hope it's not touching the test metal there. This is something about, you should think about it. It's not that great there. I just climb up again. Yeah. On the lower values, it's pretty close to X-Tech. Let's do that again on the Fluke. Fluke is reading higher again. So yeah, I don't know if it's the Fluke or the X-Tech, which one is accurate, but this one is fairly new, and Fluke 87 is a pretty old meter I got. It is 40, it's around 40 nanofarads. Let's do some electronic capacitors and see what we can measure there. Let's put these two away here. I got a couple different values here. Some of them is actually too high because the manual claims anything above, I'm not sure if you can see it here, anything above 600 microfarad is for reference only. By the way, you can see here also the frequency which is measuring. It is on now till 2 microfarad, it's measuring on 1 kilohertz and 150 millivolts, and on 220 microfarad and 200 microfarad it's measuring with 100 hertz and 50 millivolts, and on 600 it's measuring with 100 hertz and 1.5 millivolts. That's a good thing to know. Mostly standard capacitors are, I believe, 100 hertz. Let's start with the small one here. And this one should be 47 farad. I think so. Microfarad, I mean, yeah. Yes. Because I don't like the clips either, the quality is not that high. It's better to get some other leads, I guess. Let me hold it like this or what. Oh, microfarad, sorry. I should read it in microfarads. Yeah, this one is reading pretty close to that. 47, so microfarads. So mid-range is going pretty good, this meter, but let's do that in extend and see what we have there. Oops. Yeah, this one is pretty small. It's hard to get that. And let's see what this one measures. It measures a lot higher than the Uni-T. Okay, let's go to a higher value. I got 150 microfarad here. Let's test that on Uni-T. Let's see. It should be 150, around 150. It is almost 10 more than 4% and 5 digits, as you see. Let's do some a little bit higher again. I got here 220 microfarad. Let's see what it does measure. Yeah, we're going to go to the 600 microfarad range. This one is, let's check, no, it is not in video specs. It is again way off. Yeah, with the bigger capacitors, I believe even the more expensive ones, LCR meters are not so accurate with the readings. Let's do some other bigger one, like this one here. This one is 1500 microfarad. I don't think everything above 600 is only for it only needs 600. Doesn't even go 616. Doesn't even go much higher. It's only for reference according to the manual. Let's get even smaller. We got here 680. It should be around yeah, it goes to 620. It is again not in specs. So the capacitance meeting is okay within the mid-range, anything here, around here. But if you go anything about 200 or less than let's say 100 nanofarads, it goes a little bit off. In the lower range it's a lot better than high range, like most LCR meters. The ohms range is working okay within specs. At the higher end it's a little bit higher, but it's not that much. In the capacitance meeting it is yeah, in the mid range it's okay. lower range still okay, but the higher range about anything above 200 it goes way off. And in inductions, yeah, I couldn't test the lower range. The only thing I had was way off. I'm not sure if that's the inductor itself or the meter, but the higher measurements were okay. Let's take this apart and see how it looks like inside. Okay, let's take the meter apart. This meter has a holster. It doesn't look like that, but it does. It is pretty tight fit, to be honest. It has some, yeah. It's bent over here, so it fits there. So it sits tight because of that. Let's see how it feels without the holster. Yeah, still pretty strong. Let's take the battery compartment off. You can take that off without taking the holster off, by the way. The battery compartment. It doesn't have a metal receiver, so it isn't that good. The battery is pushed down with the back cover, and it has two PCB mount. I think no, it is maybe with some other connection. You can't put the battery in different ways. That is secured with these plastic sphere, so that's good. I'm sure we can take this out. Yes, it can. Take that apart there. Let's unscrew these 3 screws here. Yeah, it is touching the clips, so that's okay. We have here, I believe it was 0.315 milliamp fuse here, glass fuse. You don't need any protection here because of for the high voltage. It's only for the capacitors. If you have the discharge, I guess. Let's have a closer look. It has 2 PCBs mounted on it. I hear my camera zooming in and out. Sorry about that. Let's take further apart. Okay, let's have a look to the top PCB here. It's quite well built, and the rotation switch lanes are looking pretty good, and it looks like they well plated it because I don't see any scratch and it's hardened. When we look into the X-Tech X570, it was looking a lot worse than this one. Let's go further and look into the main PCB. Okay, let's take it apart further and see if we can find some weird stuff here. I see some soldering residue here. Let's see if my camera can catch that. Here and here. I guess those are maybe hand soldered, I'm not sure. Okay, let's have a further look into this PCB here. Like I said, there are some residues here. The input jacks are, yeah, they're really thin. These parts here, I think if I take it apart a couple times more, it will break if I touch it too much. These are for the top PCB, so they used metal threads there, bushings. I mean, let's turn the other side and have a look on the other side. It's still looking pretty good. Oh, there's another rotation switch lanes here. These are looking pretty good too, to be honest. This side, I was sure this one was not catching the capacitors I was testing. Those had smallies, but I think they could use little bit better version here. It is still looking nice. And just the buttons, like I said, they are pushing and push out buttons, so it's looking good. It's not that bad. Let's take off the LCD. And see the main PCB. I mean main chip. Oh, it's not. It is one of those, not a chip. It's inside there, so we can see which one it is. This one is just laying around for sporting the LCD. I think they could do better job at that, by the way. Yeah, it is the build quality. It looks not that bad. They could do these capacitors here a little bit different, shorter, I mean, than this one, these two here. Other than that, it is not looking bad, to be honest. I will take some pictures of it and post it on the EEVBlog forums, and you can take a closer look to it. Let's put it together and sum it up, this review. Okay, let's sum it up. Is this really worth $40 US? Yes and no. If you are doing electronics work, it is not. You can better get a better meter. I believe Frankie in EEVBlog forums, its nickname is, I believe, I Love Electronics, all put together without spaces. He's selling a Mustang, a really good meter, for $170 US shipped. So I will check that one and don't waste my money on this if you do electronics. But if you are like me and need to measure sometimes some inductions and sometimes capacitors, but this one is not that good on the higher end capacitance, and the resistor measurement is okay. The inductions is, yeah, I couldn't test the lower part, but the higher part was working. It's better than putting up a whole test like I did to just check the inductions of a coil. So for that part it's okay. About the build quality, the Uni-T keeps surprising me with the materials they are using. Only on this one the input jacks could be a little bit beefier, and this one here, the small input jack, they could use some other metal for it with better springs, so it gets receives the capacitors a little bit better, but you can wiggle it around and it worked okay. If you like my videos, give me a thumbs up. I will try to keep doing cheaper meter reviews, so you don't have to buy if they are crap, and see if it fits your needs or not. I don't give much about views on YouTube, so it doesn't matter for me. I'm doing it for fun. Maybe next time I will do a couple of these together and see how it works. I have this one for a couple months in my pocket every day, and it's working quite well, to be honest. So I have more of these. I have also probe here. I have a couple more there. I can do some review, compare them together. I have somewhere bending laying around. I'm trying to get UA, so I can do more tests. Again, thanks for watching. Till next time. Maybe it will be mini pocket multimeters, or some clamp meter I'm trying to get my hands on. See how it goes. Thanks again. Bye bye.